The following painting video is brought to you by Boutique FDB and Multizone. Check the description for their links. Hey miniature painting fans, today we're going to be painting Gladiator from Marvel Crisis Protocol. Yes, welcome back to the best channel out there, self-proclaimed of course, for painting miniatures. And today we primed this guy in a German dark red from Vallejo, and then gave it a nice zenithal of and carmine red from the Army Painter Air Paints. Again, thank you again to my members who help make this channel grow. You guys are amazing. Many months that they've been supporting this channel. That is amazing. You too can join just by hitting that button, and for as little as $2 a month, you can get some exclusive perks and some early access videos. All right, we're starting off with some crystal blue here, and you can see we're painting some of the areas here. So this is Gladiator from Marvel Crisis Protocol. This was a commission job. I never painted Marvel Crisis on the channel before. I decided to record this because the guy wanted to see my painting process as well. He doesn't want to just see the miniature in the end. He wanted to see how I paint it. So I figured I'd create the video, you guys get to see it as well. Now, if you like Marvel Crisis Protocol, if you like me painting the miniature, you like how this turned out, hit the like button. If I get to at least 50 likes, I will continue painting Marvel Crisis Protocol on the channel. I really want to see that it is worth my time and effort to put into these videos and into the painting and all that. The painting is fine. That is, like I said, that is another hobby. That is always fun. The video editing is not always something that is easy to do, and it is long. And I want it to be worth it in the end. So if I get like 10 views and barely no likes, then to me it's not a video that's worth putting out there. But this is the first in it, and I wanted to show you guys how I'm capable of painting without speed paints, and how I can actually do layering, glazing, and all that kind of stuff. So we're moving on now to Beret Maroon, which is a historical paint, and I don't remember which one. I think it might be the British one. Don't ask me every time. If you guys know, write it in the comments. Okay, you probably know. And yes, I did cover up almost like the whole top of the cape already, even though I did like a zenithal with that in carmine red. The point is I didn't put it on very heavy. So as it's drying, it will absorb into the color underneath. It will do the highlighting kind of thing. You can already start to see in the dry, and you can see the darker paint come out. Now, I didn't do underneath the cape at all to keep that shadow, to keep that more like that. And as you can see now, I'm kind of like doing just the top parts. I'm not doing like super close, like perfect scratches, perfect layering. I'm just making sure I get raised edges where the light will be hitting. I'm really focusing on where my light is and where it's going to be touching on the miniature to really show you guys how that all comes together. And everything blends in super well. I find that when it dries, like at first it always looks like, oh my god, it's way too bright and all that, but as you even if you when you watch other painters like Ninjon and all that, or Eons of Battle, they paint, it looks super bright, but then the paints react with each other, and then they cover up really well. Now this next color, Turquoise Siren, I was supposed to use this as the lightning bolt base color, because I had two colors from each triad, one for the closing here, and then one for the bolt. And I'm like, you know what? This actually blends really well, does really good highlights for the lighting and for showing how it like enforced the muscles there. So you'll see what I do with the lightning bolt after, well, sort of, because I screwed up my video recording, and you'll see anyways what happens. Dragon Red now, as you can see, I'm trying to go over just certain areas, keeping the recess a little bit darker, but kind of, because the cape wasn't bright enough for me. But again, as it dries, it comes back and starts blending in really well. Like, I don't put a ton of paint on my brush. I put a little bit more water on it, leave it a little bit more wet. I don't dry it completely, and it blends well. And look how nicely, again, it's blending into the colors, making it where, you know, the cape just looks more natural. And it's not crazy gradients. All right, so Arctic Gem is what I used on the bolt here. As you can see, I don't know what happened here. A couple colors here just got messed up with my recording. I thought I hit stop, or I hit it start, and then Warped Yellow too. I did like all the surrounding areas that like you can see around the trims and all that, and just somehow lost all that footage. So that kind of sucks. I recorded myself just doing stupid things in the background instead of actually painting the mini. Now we're moving on to Heavy Metal. This is a masterclass paint. It's from the John Blanche set. Again, if you don't have this, you could just add a little bit of, or use with like the gunmetal one, that is the darker of the silvers. You know, you can go with it. You don't even have to follow the three colors I use for the red on top. You can just go with the basic red that I use, like, you know, do what you want, but I'm just showing you my steps. And you might be like, well, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Look, it gave nothing. Well, you know, sometimes as you're painting, you learn your mistakes, and you still want to show them. I don't want to show you exactly a perfect way of painting. No, it's going to be, you make mistakes, you cover them up, you fix them, you move along, you do better, and you just get better at your painting, you know, and you just that. So the heavy metal is going on all this like metallic parts underneath. There's little pieces of metal flying everywhere where the explosion is here, or the puff of smoke is. And speaking of the smoke, we're going to start off with some ash gray on it. Yeah, so just be careful not to hit too much of the model. But if you do hit some of the model, it's not a huge deal, because with the acrylic paints, you can come back and touch up any areas you might have made, made a mistake or hit by accident with your brush. Because there are some nooks and crannies that are hard to get into. So sometimes you're like, oops, I should have maybe painted the smoke first, because if I hit the legs or I hit the lightning, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to come back and fix it after. And that actually happened with the yellow around the cape. At some point, it's so hard. I have a very shaky hand, my right hand. And so sometimes when I'm trying to do very small details like that and try and keep it steady, I will hit the outsides. I will paint outside the lines. Go figure. Been doing that since kindergarten. And and then I'll just come back with the red that I was using or whatever, and then just touch it up. Like, of course, it happens. Like it's not always going to be perfect. You're not always looking for perfection in this, because if you do, you're going to disappoint yourself. You think you're going to disappoint everyone else, and then you're going to find painting a chore more than a fun hobby. You can't let it get you down. You can't let it be like, oh, I get to the table and you know what, I'm just not in the mood to paint because I'm not good enough. You are good enough if you are happy with your outcome. Don't rely on what other people think. Don't rely on a ton of if people leave negative feedback, take it as a positive. Take it as, you know what, they're trying to help me, and I will take it into consideration. I get some negative things. I got one guy who said, you call this a paint job? I mean, that happens, you know, and I just looked at it and like, no, I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to reply. It's my paint job, and I put it out there. I'm proud of it. As you can see now, I'm using Wilted Rose for the skin flesh tone here, and I'm putting it on quite lightly so that the red underneath still comes through a little bit, because later on I'm going to turn the face a little bit more into the color as according to the artwork. Yeah, I'm still going back to another red, Fiery Vermilion, another John Blanche color here. I think this one, though, matches into the Flexible Triad. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it does. Using some Ashen Stone now on the smoke again, just so that the recesses get a little bit darker and that the whole gray is ready for some highlighting after. Grim Black for that mohawk on his head. So that's why I painted with the ash gray a while ago, the same color, so that the black works really well and has a few highlights. As you can see, I'm dry brushing some Neptune Glow onto that lightning bolt to make it look a little bit more realistic. And I'm also going to do it on the two little things that are holding up the chain on his cape there. Inner light now, and also going to be using another, I think it's Magma was the color showing up. So this is just for like the little sparks that are flying out of the smoke. So what I did is I took the two colors, put them on my wet palette, because I didn't care if my brush was still yellowish from the other color. So the Glowing Inferno just mixes into it and it blends in perfectly into the yellow, just giving a little tip highlight, not too much. And then some dry brushing of plate matte metal on the base there on that metallic parts. Just to pump that up, and now some blue tone on the face, but very watered down. Like I left my brush pretty wet, and just to turn it a tiny bit purple, which the point of it is to make his face a little bit more purple like in the artwork, and follow that along. So Brigade Gray is our next color. Now we're highlighting the smoke to make it look a little bit more realistic, making the puffs come out a little bit more, a little bit brighter here and there. And this is the final color. I'm putting it also as edge highlighting on the lightning bolt again as well, just to make that a little bit more popping. And there you have it, folks. Gladiator from Marvel Crisis Protocol. And like I said, if I can get to 50 likes, I'll continue painting Marvel Crisis Protocol on the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to slay the gray, one miniature at a time.